What's going on, guys? It's Hani here with Bumblebee Technology, and we are now in November of 2016, and all the major smartphone releases of this year have now occurred, which means it's now time for us to recap this year and go over which smartphones are the best of 2016. So in this video, I'll be going over the top 5 smartphones of 2016. So, let's get started.
Here we go.
Alright guys, before we get into the video, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer because this video is a lengthy video, around 25 minutes long, and if you don't want to sit through the entire length of this video, I'm including timestamps in the video description so that you can jump to the parts that you want to jump to. So I thought I'd let you guys know that before we get started in the video. With that said, let's jump back into the video. So starting off at number 5, we have the HTC 10. Now this is probably the most underrated smartphone of 2016, hands down. No argument against this. In 2015, it was a rough year for HTC. You know, the One M9 didn't sell very well, HTC had lost a lot of money, it was just a very bad year for HTC. So 2016 was sort of like a rebuilding stage for HTC, where they can sort of come back and become a major player in the smartphone game. And they did that by introducing the HTC 10. But it didn't really become a hit because it kind of got lost in the shuffle because of all the other great competition. But why do I think the HTC 10 is a great smartphone? First of all, it starts off with the design. And honestly, this is probably one of the best looking phones that I've seen this year. I mean, HTC has always been great with design, and it's no different with the 10. It's an all aluminum build, which we love to see from HTC, and HTC added onto that by adding some nice chamfered edges. And I can admit, when I first saw this phone with these chamfers, I didn't really like it. I said, it's not really for me. But after seeing how the light reflects off of it, it just looks absolutely gorgeous to me now. And, you know, it looks fantastic in my opinion. It's probably one of the best looking phones of the year. Along with that, it has fantastic software. In my opinion, I feel that HTC Sense is the best OEM skin on top of Android. You know, HTC really did a great job by simplifying their operating system, making it so that it's very clean, it's simple, and it's very close to stock Android. It's probably the skin that's the most related to stock Android. I mean, you can probably put both stock Android and HTC Sense next to each other, and it's almost identical. And add on HTC's great features such as blink feed, their theming customization, the overall look and feel of the operating system. It's a fantastic software. Along with that, the HTC 10 also has great features, such as great audio quality. HTC has always been great in the audio department, you know, especially with their boom sound. But now they've added onto it by still delivering great sound quality on the HTC 10. Not only with speakers, but also with the headphones, where they also have added a DAC inside the phone, where the headphones can now amplify some really great sound and audio. Along with that, they also have the fastest quick charge on the market. HTC was the first manufacturer to introduce Quick Charge 3.0 to the market, and this phone absolutely delivers. It charges your phone literally from 0 to 50% in maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And that's absolutely fantastic for any smartphone to do at this point. And finally, the last feature that's great about the HTC 10 is the fact that right now it's very cheap. I mentioned that this phone is kind of lost in the shuffle right now, which means that, you know, you can probably get this phone on a really good deal right now. You know, I've seen this phone for maybe as low as $100 on a contract, and the price is only dropping as the phone ages, which means that if you can snag this phone for that price, it's an amazing deal for this smartphone. Now, there's a reason why this smartphone ranked number 5 on my list and not number 1 or 2, and that's because it has a couple of flaws that demoted a few levels. First of all, the camera is average. Now, this is arguably the best camera on any HTC phone to date. But comparing that to some of the other competition of Samsung, Apple, Google, the camera is just average. You know, it can take quality images, but it's not going to blow you away comparing it to other phones on the market. Second of all, battery life. Battery life is average. Now, as I mentioned, the phone does charge quickly, But if the phone keeps dying on you and you constantly keep having to plug it in, that's when it gets a little bit frustrating and people just don't want that with a smartphone. But overall, that's basically nitpicking. And overall, this is probably the best package of a smartphone. And if you can get it on a good price, I'd highly recommend the HTC 10 for anybody. Because it's a great phone made by HTC. HTC really did a good job with this phone. It's just that nobody's noticing that HTC did a good job, and that's why the phone hasn't been really selling well. But overall, it's a great package, and I'd highly recommend it. Moving on to number 4. And, this is a controversial pick, especially knowing me. But in my opinion, I feel that the 4th best smartphone of this year was the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. And honestly, it's for a few reasons. First of all, I feel that the iPhone has a solid design. As I mentioned in my iPhone 7 first impression video, link in the description if you haven't seen it already, I felt that Apple kept the same design from the iPhone 6 and 6S and carried it over to the iPhone 7. Why? Because the design is solid, it's clean, it's simple, it works. It's not gonna blow anybody away, but it's a design it's simple. It's nothing crazy, but it works. And that's really where the design stands for me. It's still a good looking phone in my opinion. It has its appeal, but, it's solid and it works. But in my opinion, if you watch my review, my first impression of the iPhone 7, I think Apple was really lazy on the design department, and, that kind of just threw me off personally. But the design overall is it's a solid design. It's a good looking phone. Second of all, the software is simple and easy to use. Now this is very easy to overlook, especially when you're an Android fan especially. And I'm guilty of it as well. A lot of Android fans really feel that simplicity is a bad thing, but it's not. Because we fail to realize that not everybody are tech geeks like we are. Not everybody wants to jump through different settings menus to do different things. A lot of people just want to click an application and have it work. And that's what the iPhone brings. The iPhone brings simplicity that no other phone brings. And that's something that, a lot of people just appreciate. A lot of people appreciate simplicity, the ease of use, and the iPhone is the best at it. No phone is as simple and as easy to use as the iPhone. And that's why a lot of people love the phone. Because they don't have to, it's not a hard learning curve like Android. Number 3, the iPhone 7 has a great camera. And this is actually one of the best cameras on the market. It has been for a few years. The iPhone has always had one of the best cameras on the market. It takes great pictures, it takes great videos, especially now that Apple has added 4K video support and optical image stabilization. This is one of the best cameras on the market. It shoots some of the best pictures in general. And finally, the last selling point, I think, with the iPhone 7 that I think a lot of people, really appreciate is the fact that the iPhone always works. This is something I cannot say for most Android phones. Everything you do on an iPhone always works. Whether it's any app, any settings, any, feature, everything works on an iPhone the way it's supposed to work. And that's something that a lot of Android phones just can't do. Sometimes on Android you experience lag, you experience app crashes. You don't have that on an iPhone. iPhones don't crash on you because Apple has made sure that the software is always optimized so that every app and every feature works on the device properly as it should. And that's really what anybody wants with their smartphone. They want their phone to always work no matter what. Now, there's a reason why the iPhone 7 ranked number 4 on my list and not number 1 and 2. And it's for a couple of reasons. First of all, as I mentioned a little bit ago, and my iPhone 7 first impression, I feel that the iPhone 7 is almost an exact duplicate of the iPhone 6S, only with a couple other features. So that, I feel that's a bad thing because now, if I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the 6S and the 7, and I'm thinking, well, these phones are almost identical. Why would I spend more money for the 7 when I can save some money and buy the 6S, which is almost the same phone? So Apple really just went the lazy route and didn't really innovate with their smartphones to make people compelled to buy the latest model. Second of all, the software is actually too simple in my opinion. I feel that, after a while, people just get bored with the iPhone software and there's just really no more appeal. People just aren't interested anymore in Apple software. It's literally just, okay, it works, it's there. I find it too simple. I find it it's boring for me personally. And finally, one of the biggest negatives of this device, it's very expensive. I mean, I can't not understate how expensive the phone is. It's crazy expensive. The base model iPhone 7 starts at around $800. It's crazy for a phone that really is mediocre in the market. If you compare it to some of the other cheaper options, it's almost identical to those phones, but except it's priced almost double because of Apple's brand recognition. And that's why I feel that it's a big negative to this phone, because a lot of consumers just don't have that kind of money to afford a phone that costs $800 off contract and almost $400 on. But overall, the iPhone 7 is a solid option. It's not going to blow you away by any means, but it's a solid option for anybody who's looking for a phone that always works, is simple to use. It's a great option if you can afford it. Moving on to number 3, we have the LG V20. Now the LG V20, again, similar to the HTC 10, is a very underrated phone. Mostly because it was released during the time that the Note 7 and the iPhone 7 were released, which means that it kind of got overshadowed a little bit. But the LG V20 is a great smartphone. First of all, it has a very unique design. It's a different design. LG didn't go the conventional route like Samsung and Apple do by making the devices look pretty and whatnot. LG went with the design that it's unique and it works. The design is metal. LG did go premium with this device, but the design is eye-catching. It's something that you distinctively know that when you're looking at phones, that's an LG phone. Because the phone it's different. It looks different. It doesn't look like any other phone on the market. Number 2, it has great specs. Now, honestly, especially in the Note 7 fiasco that we went through, this phone probably has some of the most comparable specs to the Note 7. The phone has almost identical specs, some even better than the Note 7. So it's a very powerful device. Along with that, it also has unique features. This device has some unique features to it that no other phone really has. Like, first of all, a secondary display. Now, LG started this trend with the V10 last year, in which they added a secondary display to a flagship smartphone. And this basically allows the user to have extra customization to their user experience by, let's say, allowing people to have a custom apps, custom toggles, maybe custom text, to make the device, their experience unique and different. And I actually like this feature. I like the ability, I like the concept behind it. I like that how LG's trying to save a user's time and try to help them rather than making life a lot difficult for them. For example, you don't have to always pull down your notification shade to get to your toggles. You can have the toggles right up on your secondary display, so you don't have to always constantly keep swiping down to get to where you need to go. It's right up there, so you can quickly tap on it. So the concept is great in my opinion, and I think it's a great and unique feature that no other phone has. Second of all, it has a removable battery. Wait, what? A removable battery in 2016? I know, right? It's absolutely crazy. It's mind-boggling to think that a manufacturer can actually make a premium smartphone and keep a removable battery. This is something that Samsung failed to do. Apple never did in general, and it's a feature that everybody wants. It's a feature that a lot of people like and they want with their smartphones. And LG did it. LG was able to make an all metal smartphone and be able to have a removable battery. How? Because there's a button on the side of the V20 that allows LG to pop off the back cover and allow access to the battery and the SIM card and the micro SD card slot. This reminds me completely of the Galaxy S Captivate. When it had a metal back, you were just able to pop it off and take out the battery. I don't know why no other manufacturer thought of this, and I've been waiting for a company to think of this sooner, but LG was actually smart enough to be like, hey, this is metal. You can still have a metal back come off the smartphone. It's just, it's not going to be unified. It's not going to be one whole piece. It's going to be 2 separate pieces, but it's going to allow for more expandability, and it's going to keep the consumer happy. And that's something LG did a great job on, and I applaud them for that. And finally, the third unique feature of this phone is the dual camera. Now, LG introduced a camera technology where there's 2 sensors on this device. One sensor that's a regular sensor that shoots regular photos. The other sensor is a wide angle sensor. So basically, you have 2 lenses that are working at the same time. So let's say you have one shot, you're close to your subject, but you want a wider view. You can hit that wide angle, switch that wide angle lens, and have an instant wide angle view of your shot. Now this is a great feature because it allows people to get two different perspectives of the same shot. And, you know, I'm a personal fan of it. I think it's a cool feature to have on a smartphone. And finally, speaking of that camera, LG has a fantastic camera on this phone. Arguably one of the best in the market. It's equivalent to Samsung and Apple. It's right up there at the top. It's great camera, great image quality from this device. Now, the LG V20 sounds like a great phone, right? But there's one glaring negative that caused me to rank it at number 3 and not number 2 or 1. And that's the software. I think the software needs a lot of work. I think LG needs to do exactly what Samsung did, you know, with the S6 and just revamp the software. You know, cut unnecessary things out, make it simple, make it clean, make it eye-catching, make it appealing to the consumer. You know, that's something LG did not do with the V20, and I was very disappointed at that. But that's one of its biggest negatives and its biggest flaws, and that's one of the reasons just why I just don't like it. But I want to like this phone, but that's just, it's so hard, man. But overall, the LG V20 is a great option for anybody looking for a smartphone, especially this holiday season, because this is probably a great bang for your buck deal. Moving on to number 2, we have the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Now this is a device that honestly was great from the beginning. First of all, the design. The design is absolutely beautiful. Hands down, if I had to pick any phone with the best design on this list, I'd have to pick the S7 Edge. This phone looks fantastic. It looks gorgeous. With the dual edge display, the metal and glass, this phone looks amazing. Samsung did an amazing job with the design, and it looks fantastic. Along with that software, as I mentioned with LG a few minutes ago, Samsung really cleaned up their software. They made it so that it's nice and easy to use, and users enjoy using the software. I've been using an S6 now for a year now, and I've loved the software experience. I love how Samsung finally toned down the software. It makes TouchWiz usable again. It pairs that with some of Samsung's great features such as multi-window and pop-up view and things like that. Like, these are features that everybody loves, and Samsung delivers it in a great way that now people are able to enjoy it better than before. And I love it. I love the software. I'm a big fan of it. Along with that, it also has amazing specs. Now, again, just like I mentioned with the V20, then because of the Note 7 fiasco, rest in peace Note 7, if anybody's looking for an alternative to the Note 7, the closest alternative is the S7 Edge, especially in specs, because the specs of the Note 7 are the same on the S7 Edge. So basically, you're not losing anything out in the specs department with this device. Along with that, the S7 Edge has the best camera on the market. Hands down, the S7, Samsung did an amazing job solidifying themselves as the premier camera player in smartphone cameras. They create the best camera, they have great image quality, great video quality, the overall best packaging in cameras. So if you take a lot of pictures, you take a lot of videos on these smartphones, look no further, the S7 Edge or even the S7 is a great option when it comes to smartphone photography. Now the S7 Edge sounds like an amazing phone, but there's a reason why it's not number 1 on my list. And for a couple of reasons. Number 1, this device has terrible software updates. Now, I praise the software. I like it. It's a good software. But to get one update, it takes forever for Samsung to do it. And I'm not even just saying this in a general statement. I'm saying this from my own personal experience. I own an S6. Marshmallow came out last year in 2015. And I got the update in August of 2016. Almost a year after Marshmallow was released and a month before Nougat was launched. You know, if I have to wait a year for the latest version of Android, it doesn't make any sense. And that's something Samsung really needs to fix. And finally, this phone is very expensive. Similar to the iPhone, it's a great phone, but it's just so expensive that people just can't afford it. Especially when you look at it, it's on contract prices. This thing is skyrocketing to $350, especially now that the Note 7 is gone. This thing is, you know, rising in price. So it's really hard for people to afford this device. But overall, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is a great option. It's probably one of my favorite phones of the year. It checks all the boxes. It's fantastic. As long as you can afford the device, I mean, I'd say go for this. I highly recommend this phone to anybody looking for a great smartphone. And finally, my number one pick for the best smartphone in 2016 is the Google Pixel and the Google Pixel XL. Now, I know the Google Pixel and the Google Pixel XL have only been out for maybe not even a month yet, but I've honestly just loved the phone. Starting from the design, I think this is a very great move from Google. Google made their own phone. They may put their own imprint on Android on it. And it starts with the design. The design is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. I love the way it looks. I love the way how Google was able to sort of blend elements of Apple and Samsung without making it completely obvious. I know the Apple part is obvious, but they also blended with Samsung by adding the sort of the glass window on the back. And I like the look. I like how, the glass and the metal sort of contrast each other very nicely. It's a unique looking device, and that's something what Google wanted to represent. Like, Google is a unique company. So are their products. Their products are unique. They're different from other products in the market. So I love the design. I also love the software, because this is pure stock Android 7.1 Nougat. Not only are you getting the pure vanilla clean Android that Google intends, but you're also getting the great features of Android 7.1 Nougat. You're getting Google Assistant, which is the new assistant feature. You're getting the multi-view, the multi-screen, the split-screen multi-view. You're getting the new launcher. You're getting the brand new app shortcuts. You're getting everything new with Android 7.1 Nougat. All the great features. You're getting it with the Google Pixel right out of the box. Along with that, you're also getting really fast updates. That's something I just can't say about Samsung. You're getting the update directly from Google as soon as it's out. So if the latest version of Android is out, you know you're going to be one of the first people to get that update. Along with that, it also has a great camera. Google went all out with this camera. They literally put all their hard work and effort into this camera and delivered probably one of the best cameras that Google has ever made on a smartphone. The camera is great. It competes well with Samsung, Apple, LG. It's right up there with those guys. And especially in the video department, because Google has added some crazy video stabilization, which means that no more shaky videos and stuff. This is smooth video. It's absolutely fantastic. The camera is amazing. Google did a great job here. It also has some great battery life. Battery life is fantastic. It also has, Google's quick charge as well, which means similar to the HTC 10, it's able to charge up to 50% in around 15 minutes, which is absolutely insane if you think about how fast that is for a phone to charge. And finally, the biggest selling point of this phone, in my opinion, and the reason why I love it so much, it's made by Google. It's a phone completely Google. It's made by the company who made Android, which means that that the software, everything's going to be optimized for this device, which means that it's similar to what Apple does with their own products. They make their own products, which means they can optimize the software and the hardware to work well with each other and complement each other. And that's exactly what the Google Pixel does. It has software and hardware. They merge together. They can all work together seamlessly, pairing it all with Google services nicely and making it run and making it probably the best user experience on any smartphone. So there you have it. That's my list of the best smartphones of 2016. At number 5, we have the HTC 10. Number 4, the iPhone 7. Number 3, the LG V20. Number 2, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. And finally, the best smartphone of 2016 in my opinion, the Google Pixel. So in the comment section down below, let me know, what do you think are the best smartphones of this year? We've seen many great options. Did I miss any? Or do you agree with some on my list? Let me know in the comment section down below. Anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Yeah guys, and as always, I'm Hani from Bumblebee Technology, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.